All right, since I slogged all this way with all this gear, I thought I might as well do what's in my bag kind of deal. Some of this gear I've had for many, many years, and it's proven to be really good, or I really quite like it. So I'll kind of go over what I have as quickly as I can, because I don't want to bore the tears out of you. So first off, I carried an extra mat on this trip. I very rarely carry an extra mat. This is a very thin one. Because my other mat that I have is a bit of a blow-up one. It's very thin, so I thought I'd put this underneath it so it doesn't get punctured. So 2 lightweight mats, pure luxury. Okay, now this pack I've had for quite a few years now, and they don't make it anymore. This is an Arc'teryx, what's it called, an Arrakis 50. So it's a 50-litre pack. It's actually perfect size if I wasn't carrying photography equipment. Now with my photography equipment, it's actually a little bit small, so I do have trouble fitting everything in. They used to make a larger one, a 70-litre, which I should have gotten, but I just make do with this one. It's a very comfortable pack. The thing I like about it the most is that it's made out of a material that's completely waterproof, so I don't have to put all my gear in stuff sacks to keep it dry. It's more or less like a dry bag that you'd use for kayaking. So inside, what do I have? Okay, bears up here, so I brought the bear spray. This canister is a little bit big than I'd usually carry, but that's what I had lying around in the van. A headlamp. This is a Petzl headlamp. I have a lightweight wind jacket. This one's from the North Face. Sometimes I carry a lightweight jacket from Patagonia. This is similar to this. It's very lightweight. It's great if you feel a bit of a chill. A little towel for wiping my camera off. A spork, a spoon with a fork on the end. This one's made out of titanium, so it's very lightweight. Okay, this is a wireless remote for my camera. It's just one that I got off Amazon for like $30 or something. ND filters for my drone. Hopefully we'll get the drone in the air, and if the weather stays like this, then I'll definitely have to put the ND filters on. A very lightweight MSR pot with a little cup, can of sardines. I like sardines. And a Petzl knife, which comes in handy for various things. I also brought sunscreen. I hardly ever bring sunscreen, and I actually remembered it this time, and it was a good job too, because it's really quite hot out today, and the sun is just blazing, so that was a good thing to buy or bring. Okay, what else? Stove. I use an Msr Xgk. I've had, this is my 3rd one, I think. I still have my very first Msr Xgk. It's 40 years old now and it still works, but a few years ago I decided to buy a new one, just because the other one's just getting so beaten up and it's hard to get going sometimes. So MSR products I really quite like. Extra pair of socks, a bit of clothing. Most of my clothing or tops are all merino wool. I like merino wool because it stays warm when it's dry. It dries really quickly, and the best thing about merino wool is it doesn't stink. You can wear it for several days and it doesn't smell so bad. You might smell bad, but the garment won't smell. The pants that I use, which I wear all the time, you've probably seen me in most of my videos wearing these. These are Marmot. They're a polyester type pants or trousers. They wear extremely well and they dry very, very quickly, so they're excellent pants. I really like these. What else? This is something that I don't usually bring. This is the vestibule for my tent, which I'll show you in a minute. It just gives you a little bit of extra room for your pack or boots or whatever. Remote control for the drone. Hat, because it could get cold up here tonight. Pair of gloves. These are actually photography gloves. These are made by Valerie. I bought these this past winter, and they seem to be quite good. They're kind of like the mitten type ones with the trigger finger, and they have a little tab on them with a magnet so you can peel back the finger for your trigger finger. They're quite good. I quite like them. They seem to be extremely well made. What else do we have here? Drone. It's a Mavic Pro drone, which I use in pretty much all of my videos. iPod, ibuprofen for sore muscles for old people. Tons of Cliff Bars, a lens cleaning gadget thing with a brush, a sweater, rain jacket. It's supposed to get stormy tomorrow, hopefully not, but you never know, so it's good to come well prepared. More clothing. Now I usually bring the clothing to wrap up my camera gear, so inside this jacket I have, if I can find it, it's lost in here somewhere. I brought with me 2 lenses on this trip. This is the 24 to 120 that I use all the time. As I've said in previous videos, I love the focal length. It's not a particularly good lens. It's a 24 to 120 f4. It's an okay lens. It doesn't seem that sharp on the corners, but most people aren't going to notice except for me. So I quite like this focal length. I just wish it was a little bit wider at the wide end. This is probably the heaviest piece of equipment is my camera. Now on this trip, I brought the 14 to 24. Now usually when I'm backpacking, I'd bring a 16 to 35 because it's much lighter. But the reason why I brought this lens is it's great for astrophotography. If it stays like this, I might do some star work tonight. I'm not sure yet. The hike wasn't really that far, so I figured, why not bring it? It's pretty heavy though. On a long hike, I would just leave it at home. It's just too heavy. What else we got here? Okay, now this is probably overkill. I brought my big down parka. The main reason why I bought it is because I like to use it as a pillow, but sometimes you just never know. It can get really cold up here quickly, so I like to come well prepared. If I have it, it's great. If I don't use it, that's fine. I pretty much bring it with me on all my trips these days because there's been a number of times where, you know, it'll be like this. You go out with shorts and a t-shirt and then it'll drop down to 0 degrees, and it can get pretty miserable if you don't have the right clothing. So I always bring at least 1 or 2 jackets. So I have a sweater, a light jacket and a thick jacket. We're up in the mountains, so my tent. Now this tent I've had for probably about 12 years now, maybe longer. This is a black diamond. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. I'll leave a name down below. It's a single wall tent. If you felt it, almost feels like cotton. It's super lightweight. It's been an excellent tent. When you look at it, you think, oh, there's no way that's going to keep the rain out or the wind, but it's been excellent. My only complaint with this tent is that it's too short. If you're 6 foot or over, then it's a little bit short. Eventually I will replace it, and I'll probably replace it with a single wool tent, maybe a Todd-Tex or a Gore-Tex tent. They're pretty pricey, but if it's anything like this tent, this has lasted me a long time, so it'd probably be a pretty good investment. And here we have, this is a pretty luxurious item. This is actually a blow-up sleeping mat that's filled with down. It's super warm, extremely comfortable, and it seems that as I get older and older, I want more and more comfort. So it's a pretty extravagant thing to carry, but for a good night's sleep, this is the ticket. And last but not least, my sleeping bag. This is a Marmot sleeping bag. Marmot make excellent sleeping bags. This actually has somewhat of a water repellent coating on it. So since it's down, you definitely don't want down to get wet. So I have the waterproof coating on it just in case my tent fails. It's a breathable material. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the sleeping bag. I'll leave the name down below again. It's been an excellent bag. And that's pretty much it. Now in the front compartment, I have all of my food. I have some fuel for my stove. And on this trip, I've decided to bring Dehydrated Food. It's just quick and simple. Mountain House, they seem to make pretty good freeze-dried food. Beef stew or any of the lasagnas or anything like that are half decent, you know, as long as you leave them long enough to cook. They don't taste very good if they're crunchy. And that's it. That's all my gear. Oh, sunglasses, and and lots of water, and also very lightweight hiking poles for going up hills and down hills. They're great for crossing logs and anything like that. You'll notice also that my footwear has changed. I'm not wearing my welly boots. I'm actually wearing some decent hiking boots. This particular brand, Xgk, which I've always bought. These boots were quite expensive and probably a bit overkill for most hikes that I do, but for backpacking, I love them. The Vibram sole and the leather construction is second to none. And these are actually made in Italy. They're not made in China. So yeah, I'm really happy with Xgk boots. You pay a lot for them, but they're worth every penny. And then in the top pocket here, I have the monitor for the Mavic Pro drone, extra cards, a couple of filters. I have 2 polarizers from Breakthrough Photography and the 10-stop ND filter from Breakthrough, which are all excellent filters, all stacked up into one little nice package. A couple of extra batteries for the drone and a few extra batteries for the Sony RX, which I'm using to record this, and my Nikon D850. All heavy and take up room, but a necessity. And that's all my gear. So thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore the tears off you. All right, till next time everybody, thanks ever so much.